Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Just another week, 1st of May. Woo. I'm getting right into this because I want to go for a walk and I don't have any idea what's happening. Okay. Welcome. I said that. I hope you're doing okay. We're just going to get some messages for the week of May 3rd. I've been told to use 3 card decks, so we're going to see. I'm finally sort of now actually hearing my team again, which is lovely. I'm fucking happy about that. Okay, so here we go. Channeling. Got some galactic beings to talk to. Whew. Anything? Okay, we're gonna shuffle. It's gonna be fine. Messages for the week of May 3rd. Hopefully I did that correctly. All right. Ooh. These cards feel fun. Yeah, I've actually been walking a lot. All right, we're going to do 3 piles. All right, let's just do 3 piles. This feels weird. Yeah, I don't like it. We're gonna not do that. I like it when the cards just jump out. It's like they read me. I am the message, and now I'm dropping everything. Goodness. All right. Got 2. Oh, you really wanted this one. Okay, I see. Not this one. Okay. That card popped out earlier, and I thought, all right. Okay, this one. Oh, that's... Anyway, I dropped it, so I was like, fuck it, get back in there and pop out if you really want to come out. And it popped out. So let's just see what we have to... Love it when that happens. Read. Hey, I have your messages. And wow, that one also popped out earlier. I'm an asshole. really should have listened. Sorry. All right. Are we doing piles? Yes, we're doing piles. Okay. Piles it is. We're picking. What are we picking? Okay, we're picking. So pick a pile. Haven't done this one in a while, so that's kind of fun. You can pick pile 1, 2, or 3. You can pick multiple piles. You can pick no piles, and just see what resonates. That's really what these readings are for, is to, give you things that confirm something that already resonates with you. And you'll know it. It'll feel like, oh, that's sounds like something I should be paying attention to, or whatever. That's what I mean. Resonating. It just is like feels true. If it feels true, fucking take it. If it doesn't, leave it. And that is true for everything, not just my readings, but every fucking thing in life. You have to live by your truth and no one else's. So if I say something that feels like it applies to you, then it does. It is literally as simple as that, which is awesome. It doesn't sound like it should be that easy, but it is. Okay, I'm having some struggles here. You know I like shuffling. advice to use the cards that already fell out. If they want to come out. Messages for the week of May 3rd. We're getting 3. We're not using this. Okay. 3 messages for the week of May 3rd. Man, I am trying to keep got weird. I tried something new with my makeup. Not sure I like it. I don't really care. I mean, I care, but I don't really care. I'm just checking myself out. Okay, let's take a breath. Always good idea to take a breath when you're feeling like, what the actual fuck. Okay, you wanted to come out. Thank you very much. Okay, we have had some of these messages before, I feel like. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Ooh, yep, definitely had that one before. We'll get there. I feel like this is a good, well, every time is a good week to speak your, that phrase, speaking the truth, is really, okay, that one came out too. I guess we'll use that. Speaking your truth is like kind of annoying to me a little bit. I know it shouldn't be, because like the meaning is, you know, it's good and it resonates and shit. It's just, I feel when there's a group of, not a group, a specific group, just like there are certain people who say speak your truth, and it grinds my gears. I'm like, shut the fuck up. I don't know why I just said that. Who cares? Wow, that was a really great shuffle, you guys. Really great shuffle. Okay, 3 advice cards for the week of May 3rd. What do we have going on? Please show us what we need to know. Okay. Damn, I feel like I get a lot of these same cards, which, you know what? We're kind of in the same shit. Like, I don't like that one. Thank you. Okay. Advice cards. Thank you. All right, we'll get to those in a minute. Okay, pile 1. Again, pick 1, 2, or 3 multiples. Don't pick anything. Take what resonates. There are no rules to this fucking game. Okay. I have not gotten this card before. We the Hathors. So I'm going to look up what the fuck that means. I think it means, what am I getting? Birth. Okay, well, let's see. Oh, wow. There's no list of, oh, there we go. 120, okay. In case the number 122 or 123 means anything to anyone, that's the page number. Those are the page numbers of this card. Okay, yeah, it is birth. So, Earth is sending us some messages here. One is that the Earth is literally our mother. She created us as life forms, and we exist because she wants us to. And she's helping us birth new. Okay, so, ow. Transition. this week. And I've been feeling that sort of. Ooh, okay, so I like this. I sorry, I can't keep one fucking thought. ADD. It's just a fucking thing. Anyway, you either know what I'm talking about or you don't, and that's fine either way. So we the have. Okay, so here's the pile. The word wants to be okay. That one I'm gonna get clarity on. So in pile one, we've got birth, transition, and logic and reason. So we're getting a message from Mother Earth this week. And again, some of this stuff sounds repetitive because it is. We're going through a transitional time, and that's just what it's gonna be for a minute. And has been for a fucking minute, and that's why we're all like, "What the fuck?" Um, we're moving from one way of being to another. So Earth is reminding us that logic and reason, while they serve their purpose and are very excellent in a lot of ways and have served us well and will continue to serve us well. I mean, it's not one and done. Like logic and reason no longer serve us. Okay, not that. It's just that we're kind of moving into stuff that might not make as much logical sense if you're trying to go about it that way, or to figure things to make things make sense to yourself in a way. Um, so maybe don't use your logic and reason. It's gonna go beyond that. We're gonna see some shit and be experiencing shit that is. It's not something we can force to make sense, by logic and reason, if that makes sense. Um, it's gonna work out. It's gonna be fine. You just can't logic and reason your way out of whatever this transition is. You really, literally, just need to go with the flow. We the Hathors. Again, it's an interesting card. I've never gotten that one. It's fun. Um, so again, logic and reason serve its purpose, but we're moving in a transition. Just kind of maybe give up that need to be logical and reasonable, or to apply it to whatever changes you're going through this week or changes that you see happening in the world this week. St- we're in an Aquarian age. Shit doesn't make sense. We Aquarians like to be just like out of the box and who gives a shit? And let's try something completely fucking new. Let's write a new story that's never been told before. Is that possible? Logic and reason is probably going to tell you no, but go beyond logic and reason and be like, yeah, there are plenty of new stories. This is great. We're going to make them. Um, our civilization is crumbling, peeps, and it's a good thing. The transition is really hard to live through, but it's a good thing. And we're the stories that we've been telling, like the archetypes, like the typical hero's journey, or whatever there's like 7 movie plots that just get told over and over and over, that kind of shit. Those stories don't make sense to us anymore. Well, they already don't make sense to me and a lot of people that I know. They might still make sense to you, and that's totally fine. They're fun stories in a way, and I'm still watching 90s sci-fi shows, so I'm not one to talk about whatever. But anyway, point is, we're not going to have the same archetypes going into this new transitional phase. We're going to fucking meet aliens and shit. Well, if you're open to it and consent and all that shit. But I'm just saying, what new stories can you make? This is cool. And the reason I'm talking about stories is because the advice card for this pile, again, this is pile 1, is the word wants to be written. And it literally just made me think of like how I was telling myself the other day about, oh, new stories. Let's fucking write them. 42 might be a sync for some of you. That's the number on this card. 26 on that card. I'm just gonna quickly look up if there's anything I'm missing, but I really feel like that's the. Oh shit! Was that what that is? Okay. Writing new stories. Shit. Okay, this might be my pile. No, they're all probably my pile. I don't know. Yeah, the word wants to be okay. So group one, we're going through a transition, either personally, or with the news you see in the world, wherever you are, or whatever you're paying attention to. So whatever transitions you're going into, it's powerful, it's beautiful, it's full of love. On the surface, it might not seem that way because the death process is scary, understandably so. Um, but Earth is telling us she's got us. She's, you know, trying to show us that we can live in a love frequency instead of a fear-based frequency. Um, and we're not going to logic and reason our way out of that one, you know, at least the way we use it now, which is fine. And the word wants to be written. So if you have an idea for a story that can be told that is like nothing we've ever heard before, or even if it's you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Like it's not, I'm not telling you to be right. I really feel like this might be my pile. I'm supposed to write. Okay, I'll give you an example. Just this morning, I was thinking about how you you stand at the edge of the cliff. There's darkness all around in front of you, and you step off into the darkness and build your new world and use your imagination, um, whatever. So this morning, I imagined myself at the edge of the cliff, stepping out into darkness, and then I wrote a very short paragraph, just in a Word document. I was just like, what am I doing in this darkness? What am I building? Like this is literally new consciousness, new stories. And I wrote a little paragraph about how I was stepping into the darkness and what I was doing in the darkness to build new things, um, planting new seeds, the words you speak, so maybe oh, that's your advice. Uh, Write what you would do if you stepped out into that darkness from the cliff's edge. Everything is safe behind you, all the old programming, all the old life, all the, you know, comforts of whatever it is. And you're stepping out into that darkness and you're dancing. Okay. You're fucking excited to build something new. Uh, write down what that looks like and don't be boxed in by any limitations. There are no, your imagination does not understand limitations. We've made it with logic and reason try to understand limitations, but there's no, whew, remember when you were a kid and you made up all this kind of shit? That's what I'm talking about. Just what would the world look like if you could literally build it from scratch? So, and okay, so I said the word wants to be written. I said write a paragraph or whatever. You could create a song. You could draw a picture. You could, you could even keep it to yourself. Just have it in your head or whatever. Whatever your outlet is for expressing yourself. What does it look like when you step into that darkness and can create from scratch? How fucking cool is that? Just get into that mindset. Like it doesn't, no one's going to read this or listen to it or hear it or necessarily. But what if you could actually make that? Just feel that energy. Feel it. It just feels good. Step off into that darkness. Oh man, it is fucking terrifying, but exhilarating. I act like I've just done it, but I was in my head when I was thinking all these things and stepping off into the darkness to imagine what I would build. I felt myself step, you know, and you don't know what's out there, and you don't know if it's going to be solid footing, even though you know it is going to be solid footing because the universe is not going to let you, you know, it doesn't want you to die. It wants you to enjoy. And part of that is making completely new stories, man. Whatever way you want to tell a story, do that this week if that resonates with you. If it doesn't, that's okay too. Okay. Pile number 2, the blue flame activation. Seems like we're gonna shit's happening. Again, with this whole people are waking up thing, it's been said quite a few times before by me and a lot of other light workers, shadow workers, whatever you want to call it yourself. People are waking up on a massive scale. It's still happening. This is kind of a year, at least a year. I don't know. I feel like it'll probably, you can't put time on these things necessarily, but it's like this year in particular and going into next year as well. I don't know if it'll last the whole year, if we're just part of the year, or whatever it is. People are fucking waking up, and it's it's the plan. So let's go with the plan. So spontaneous awakening, activations. You might know people who are suddenly waking up, and waking up just means you're in a fucking video game. I use those words because it's easier for me to process. Life is a game. Literally, it's a fucking game. Imagine if you were a librarian who only lived in the library and and you've read every single book that's in this library. It's literally every book that's ever been written, ever will be written, everything is in there. And all you can do is read the books, which are great. And that's fun in itself. But then you want to explore some shit. So what do? You want to explore what you've read about in these books. So think of that as Source. Source is this librarian who's read all of the books, had every idea, just as a concept, and it sent parts of itself out to fucking experience the ideas. So that's what we're doing. We're literally a game. We're a projection of Source, just out in different star systems, different planets, different dimensions, whatever, experiencing life. So that's what I mean when I say wake up. You're in a game, or at least that what you've been sold all your life as the rules to this game are not necessarily the rules you have to accept. That's waking up. So if you know people who are waking up in small, big, whatever ways, it's a thing. So that might be happening around you. You might be one of them. Maybe you're listening to this video just because you have randomly found something that helps you wake up. Who knows? Whatever it is, that's a thing this week. And it will continue to be, but usually when the cards come out to draw our attention to it, that's a pretty good sign we're gonna be experiencing some stuff or see it in the people around us. You could also be upgrading. Like I said, my guides just kind of came back online. I've been fucking asleep like the entire month of April. I was just like I still knew I was in a game, but like I couldn't / wouldn't. I still trying to be honest with myself about that. I kind of didn't really want to I didn't want to do spiritual shit. I just couldn't handle it. But also I felt like I could not, like I was not able to. So that was me telling myself a truth that might not have been actually true, but that's what I needed a break. So April was my break. Wow, this is a tangent as hell, but I don't even know where I was going with that. Activations. So you might be upgrading. Like I said, my guides just came back online. I allowed them to, or whatever. I reopened the channel somehow, whether that was consciously or unconsciously. So that might be happening. Maybe you had a break in April and you're coming back online. Things are upgrading. You can pay attention to your dreams. You're seeing messages, that kind of shit. That's activation. So you're seeing that. Okay, so deep polarity is the kind of context clue for this. We've gotten this one before too, because again, this is what we are healing right now. A lot of it. We're healing a bunch of shit, but like polarity is one of the big ones. And polarity is just things like something is good or bad. It is light or dark, not positive or negative, whatever. It's both. It is good and bad. It is good, positive and light. I mean, you can't have shadows without light. You can't see stars without darkness. Like it's all the things. Like everything. So there's no such thing as or. It's and one of the things we're healing is and. So waking up, activate. That might be one of the things you're seeing or experiencing is that you're realizing that not everything is one thing or another. And again, I literally give you two options, like good or bad. It could be all the things. It could be black and white, gray, all shades in between. Like it's just everything. So yeah, let me just quickly. And the advice card for this is conscious connections. So clearly that means like, oh, okay, reaching out. That makes sense. All right. So we're activating, waking up, integrating, integrating memories from past lives. Even if you are not sure you believe in that, what I believe is that our souls are just here in this lifetime, and they've had many lifetimes previous to this. So when I say activation and memory, it's like remember who you are. You're a galactic fucking being, and it might take baby steps, whatever, but you're waking up. Anyway, so waking up, healing some polarity, and the advice is conscious connections. So I feel like this energy is very, if you or people are starting to question things, like question reality or question the rules or whatever, or whether or not things are good, or if you're starting to see that things that you thought were originally bad were actually good, or that kind of stuff, reach out and be with other people who understand what you're talking about, or help them understand what you think is true. And again, don't evangelize, like let them have their own truths, but make the conscious connections to okay, so there's two options here. You are waking up to this is a game, and that polarity does not exist. Something is not this or that. Something is this and that. And so you are realizing this, and you are noticing that others are starting to feel the same way, or at least starting to question things. Reach out to them if it is appropriate, and start the conversation. Help them activate their memories. This is a time where we're really remembering that we're the creators of our reality, co-creators with our higher selves, but we're gods. So if you're having any of those thoughts or noticing people having those observations, make a community out of it. And it doesn't have to be like forever or whatever, even a few minutes of a conversation or just a reach out, that kind of thing. You might also, so that was option one for group two. Option two is that, what was I fucking gonna say? Oh, this is what we're working on. Okay, so I kind of combined the two options in that one. This is nice and confusing. I'm so glad you are sticking with me. Or maybe you're not and you already left. That's fine. I love you anyway. You are waking up and activating and having interesting dreams or hearing guides or seeing energies or whatever the fuck. You are realizing that things are not this or that. There are things that are this and that. And then you'll need to maybe figure out other people you can talk to, or even a podcast you can listen to that will help you. Conscious connections are just like, it doesn't have to be actual people. If you feel like you don't have a community that would understand these conversations, that's totally fine. I tend to go for podcasts or books or whatever. That is also community. Something a thing that helps you process what you're realizing and waking up to. And then the second option was you will see other people or world events that um, reflect this waking up and realizing that things are not good or bad. So anyway, those were the messages for group two. Healing clarity. Okay. Anything else on that one? Okay. Damn bitches. Did I get this? Okay. Pile three. Activated earth, ley lines, sacred places, trust where you are led. Might get some travel this week. You might have the urge to travel. I'm I know travel is hard and it can be a privileged thing and that kind of stuff. So if you can't actually travel because of whatever restrictions you're under, that's totally fine. It's not, maybe this pile doesn't resonate with you anyway, but that doesn't mean that you can't travel again in your imagination. And I know that sounds annoying, maybe. I mean, sometimes I get annoyed when I hear people tell me, well, you can travel in your imagination. I'm like, well, motherfucker, it's not the fucking same. And it's not necessarily, does not necessarily feel the same because it is very different to get out. But as you are realizing that your imagination is more powerful than we've ever given it credit for, it literally creates your reality. Travel in your imagination. Like I said earlier this morning, I was just dancing in the darkness off of a cliff's edge. There are no cliffs here. I just, it's in my head. I traveled to this cliff in my head. So that kind of thing. Travel, either physically or mentally, whatever feels right and whatever is accessible to you. But if you are literally traveling to a physical location, pilgrimages are still kind of being encouraged by the galactic. Am I correct on that? Mhm. Yes. Okay. Yes, we are still encouraging travel. Okay, so they're still encouraging travel. They have been for I don't know about 3 or so weeks now. Not that they never were, but like we were all really like no travels, and it was very much like stay inside and inside yourself and that kind of thing. But anyway, now it's like okay, let's travel. The activated Earth. I think I said this last week or 2 weeks ago or whatever the fuck, but even if you can't travel easily to a quote unquote sacred place, and there are a lot of them out there, I just went to Sedona. That is, kind of an example. Even if you can't get to a designated sacred spot or whatever, this entire earth is sacred, the whole fucking place. And there are power zones, so to speak, where it's like really noticeable energy wise when you're there. But like, really, this entire planet is just it's just all sacred. And so if you can just go out in your yard, if you don't have a yard, but there's a park nearby, if there are no parks nearby, and you just look out the window to the sky and the sunshine, I'm literally trying to figure out if you don't have a window with sunshine, which is definitely, I've lived in those places. So that will probably require some imagination work where you visualize being out. That's fine too. Um, be out in the air and nature and feel trust that where you are being led travel wise is where you should probably go. So fucking take that trip if you've been thinking about it, or if an opportunity comes up, but you're like, oh, but then I'd have to use vacation time or like what? Don't fucking just go. And I know it's easy for me to say because I'm not the one like having to juggle all the shit that you might be juggling. But I'm just saying for myself, when I literally just freaked out and went to Sedona. I had not left my apartment in about 4 months prior to that because I was like, oh, I don't want to use vacation time. I don't want to drive. I don't want to put on pants. Okay, so I gave myself a lot of excuses. So what I'm saying is, if you have been called to travel, fucking do it. This is the sign you've been looking for. Um, Context, conservative attachments, which I think we've gotten before, or maybe I just pulled from I can't remember. Um, this is the old way of doing things, like holding on to comforts that might not be serving you anymore, energies, programs, things, ideas, people, jobs, whatever, those things, conservative attachments. It's like that. Um, it's like, yeah, just the old way of doing things. Um, Earth is telling us that we are needing to shed these conservative attachments, and it can be easier when you um, go to a sacred place. You feel, um, if you're sensitive to energies and all that, you can kind of feel the earth just talking to you, like, dude, what the fuck? um, am I reading that right? Okay. Yes, I am, is what I'm saying. Okay. And the advice card is seeing the real you. Interesting. Okay, so we've got sacred sites in earth, like travel, trust where you're led, conservative attachments, which is, kind of the way things have always been that we're holding on to that we really need to let go of because they're not serving us anymore, whatever these attachments are, and seeing the real you, um, as the advice. Well, I'll just give the example of my trip to fucking Sedona. I went to a sacred, one of the power vortexes, all the stuff. That's what I did. Um, I asked for help shedding shit that does not serve me anymore. And it was helpful to do that there. I felt like I'd gotten a lot of energy work done and got rebalanced and, you know, heard advice to let go and let the universe put me where it knows I need to be instead of just one of my conservative attachments is like, but should I be trying harder? Should I be working harder? Should I, like all the things. The advice, Sedona from the earth was to let the fuck go. Okay. So anyway, that was seeing the true me there was, you know, the truth for you right now is that you are to let go and go with the flow of the universe. You might not see it at the time you want to see it because I wanted to see it fucking 4 months ago, but um, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. Signature. I'm gonna look up. That is an interesting one that I want to just. I think spending. Well, you know what? I'm just gonna see. Um, oh, okay. Interesting. I just got a hit as I was reading that were not words in the book, but kind of they were. Okay, so oh shit. All right, so again, oh man, and I was just talking to someone about this. Um, how do I explain this? Um, so kind of, it's interesting because all three piles again are sort of related, which is kind of how energy readings work. They're not necessarily all separated. And again, you might find pieces of advice from multiple piles that resonate, and you don't have to resonate with all the advice from all piles. With that being said, I don't know why I went there, but reality is what you make it. We're transitioning into an age where that will be easier for us to actually understand and take our power back and like experiment with how that part of the game works, kind of thing. Um, and seeing the true you is what you see in reality is a reflection of what is in here, of your thoughts, beliefs. That's what you see. Um, and again, that's this age that we're going into. We were always in, that was always possible. It was just really hard to stay awake, almost impossible, basically, and keep that as a truth when we've been just fed and fed and fed and have the rules of whatever game we've been playing up until now. Um, so, for example, a conservative, like the old ways of doing things, like things are happening to me instead of I have drawn all these experiences to me, so let me find the value or the positive in what seems like a super shitty thing or whatever. Um, the real you is reflected back at you in what you're seeing in the world. So, for example, when I went to Sedona, I, instead of being annoyed by the tourists and whatever, and yes, I realized I was also a tourist, but I'm better because whatever, that kind of shit. Instead of being annoyed by the other tourists, I should say, I was like, look at them out here trying as hard as they can to connect, to take their time and connect with these vortexes. Half those fucking people probably in the 90s would have written off energy work as fake or whatever, but those kinds of people were there. They were sitting in the vortexes, like maybe not necessarily meditating or taking it super super seriously, but part of their subconscious was like, listen, I what if this is true, man? Anyway, it was just really cool to see, both externally and like the people that were there, and also internally for myself, like thinking, instead of annoyed thoughts, like, oh, how awesome is it that they're here celebrating Mother Earth in this awesome sacred space. So that was one of the conservative attachments that I shed or am working on. Nobody's fucking perfect. But anyway, if you, I feel like this is like a literal travel advisory to, in a good way, to travel to a sacred spot or ley line or whatever, and just research. Just you know what? I don't even know why I said that. Fucking forget it. Research whatever. Like, pick something randomly out of a book. Who cares? If you're called to a spot, if you're like, wow, I really am feeling this urge to travel to fucking Oklahoma, who, whatever you're, if it feels weird or feels unusual or whatever, even if it feels normal, like a trip to Sedona for me, like I know what Sedona is, whatever, or even overseas somewhere. I'm sorry, I'm talking to Americans because I'm in America, but like if you're overseas and you feel like coming to Sedona, cool, it's awesome. Anyway, travel to a sacred site to help you practice and become aware of the conservative attachments we need to, and conservative attachments to like things like the way they should be because it's always been that way or whatever, to see the new you, or the real you. So again, I will give that example. I traveled to Sedona, shed some old programming of like being annoyed with tourists to celebrating what they are. And because that happened, and I was already kind of in that spot anyway of like shedding programming that does not serve me any longer and that kind of stuff, and trying to find the good in the bad. Remember, nothing is good or bad, it is both. So when I try to find the good in the bad, what I perceive as bad, that work helps you see the real you. You have done the healing for yourself, by reframing things. Like if something bad happens to you, well, what is the good that you can see in that? If that's the kind of work you've been doing, you're going to see that reflected back in reality. If you are holding on to the programming that doesn't serve you any longer, like if I had gone to Sedona and been like, oh my god, these tourists are so fucking annoying, like it it's a reflection of me because we are all one. So the better you think of yourself, the more good you're going to see reflected from other people. Um, Does that make sense? All right. I think I probably should stop talking and go on that walk. Um, do we need to do a recap? We totally can. Group, you know what? The point is, we're going through a transition. The earth is telling us this. And this week, we're going to see people waking up. We ourselves might be waking up. If we are already awake, we will be leveling up. Activations, healing the polarity, not using logic and reason to see things, write or create an expression of the way you want to see reality or the way the world is. So, like I said, I wrote a paragraph. You don't have to write and just express what it looks like to step out into darkness and dance and build a new landscape. And it doesn't have to be ideas or like, you know, like this is the way society should work or whatever. Just what I did was in my little paragraph, I took new earth, just mud, laid it out. I planted seeds and I spoke words from my heart. I can feel the vibrations. Just speak the words of love and I don't remember, new stories, I think was one. I just said words that I wanted to grow into something. I didn't necessarily stick around to see what they grew into. I didn't want to. I just told myself, and in my paragraph, I said she planted seeds. She spoke these words. The seeds began to sprout, and I didn't look at what they were yet. I just wanted to leave it for a minute. I don't really know why I'm going on and on about this. Who cares? But we're shedding old ways that might feel comfortable because they have always felt comfortable, even if they were uncomfortable, because it's always easier to stay in discomfort because you know what it is than maybe step out into that cliff darkness craziness. But we're shedding as much as we can of that. So either you see that in yourself this week, or you're going to see it in either small communities or world events, whatever you're paying attention to. So that's what we're kind of seeing. Remember, the real you is reflected back at you in what you see in the world. So the more you can heal, the literal better picture you're going to see outside in the world. And it's not overnight. It takes effort, but it becomes easier. That was a lot. I'm going to fucking stop talking. This is ridiculous. Thanks for listening. If you want to go into more of this, if you're kind of waking up and you're like, wait, what is happening? Or if you're just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Whatever. If you have any questions, it would be awesome to talk to you. My email is kk@comelaughwith.me. You can also book a reading on my website for I can't even talk. Akashic Records readings or working with cards. That's also an option. And that is comelaughwith.me. Seriously, totally awesome to hear from you. If not, that's okay too. Sending you lots of love either way. Yeah. Okay. So I hope you have a good week of May. A good first week of May. And it would be cool if you notice changes or, any of this reading resonated and you next week are like, oh, wow, I saw this and this and this. It's cool to hear. I would love to hear it. If, no pressure, but lots of love, you beautiful motherfuckers. Yeah. Okay. Awkward ending. Bye.